'cause now is the time to show we patriotism. For we country facing its darkest hour. So our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, it have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just get one more try, life would be much sweeter. From the time we analyze just what was the problem, yes, we start making very positive moves to solve them. We fire the old set on managers we had working, and it's a new group we went and we bring in. And if the goods we require them new managers not supplying, when election time come back wrong, it's new ones we bring in. But if it's one thing about my people, I could guarantee that they would never ever put party before country. And now the country facing its darkest hour, and our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, it have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just give one more try, life would be much sweeter. When the treasury was full and happy time, some was enjoying.
Yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is the Corridor Transformation. Your host, of course, Lennox Smith. We have a bumper program for you tonight. Of course, in the background, well, the one and only, the late, of course, Black Stalin, of course, and they are talking, of course, he is referencing to the tragedy that is Trinidad and Tobago today. And therefore, it is as a consequence of those multiple and far-reaching incidents of tragedy in Trinidad and Tobago that, of course, the general elections for 2025 is against that background. It is, of course, being executed. And so we say that when the 28th comes, that is next week, Monday, not Monday went. I was hoping it was Monday went, so today we could be rejoicing with a new government replacing, of course, the PNM, and of course it's the tragedy that it has, of course, perpetrated on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But that being as it may, once again, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central. I'll try to get some of the goings on at the Tunapuna meeting of the UNC and of course this coalition of interest partners. I'll try to do that and give you a glimpse of what is happening there, because it is happening as we speak. But I thought it was more important to be with you. And if I have to leave, of course, prematurely, because normally we finish at 10 o'clock, well, of course, I'm sure that you will be forgiving. But the fact of the matter is, I have not ignored you. The corridor did not ignore you, because we have a situation in our hands, or in our hands to, of course, make sure that we rescue Trinidad and Tobago, having regard, of course, to the economic disaster, the social quagmire, and, of course, the decadence that is, of course, Trinidad and Tobago today. That being as it may, of course, I have my colleague, as you see there, of course, he seems to be a standard feature, Mr. Taylor. Yes, Mr. Taylor. I'll get around to it. I'll get around to the full name, but of course, Mr. Taylor, a businessman as well as, of course, a very concerned community activist who, of course, is here with us. But let's take it a little more of Black Stalin.
We could make it if we try just a little harder now. Seems to feel like I talking nonsense, but the majority of we decide we're not going to run, because now is the time to show we patriotism. For we country facing is that is sour, so our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, it have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could make it if we try, just a little harder. If we just get one more try, life could be much sweeter. We can really analyze just what was the problem.
We have to do
yes,
our
we start
internal,
making very positive
let's say,
move to success.
and our
We fire the
standard
old
that
man, it has
we
been
like to
hard
project.
working.
And so,
And it's a new group.
sorry about that, people. Yes, indeed. Our internal, of course, what I consider to be standard bearers and those persons who are doing, of course, the check-in, so to speak, to make sure that we are on air. Well, yes, I can show you my device. We are on air at this point in time. We are on YouTube. I've not yet checked, of course, Facebook, but we will do so during the course of the program. I want to tell you as well that in order to get us on YouTube, some people are experiencing the difficulty. Remember, you said corridor transformation. You log into corridor transformation with Lennox Smith. I think that will send you directly, of course, to our page. That being as it may, yes, indeed, of course, and that being as it may, as I said, we have issues that we would want to discuss. Of course, we have a woman, a lady with us as well, a member of the community, who we will be inviting, of course, to join the panel. We have other people as well. Yeah, of course, and whosoever would like to join the panel. Remember that we said that we will have a camera facing the audience. Well, I don't know if it will happen tonight because we were in a bit of haste tonight. But of course, we set up everything for that. But whether or not the camera will do what we want. Well, of course, you know, I've always spoken of Murphy's Law. Whenever something has to go wrong, it will at the worst possible time. And that may be just possible. So, but the fact of the matter is that as Boy Scouts and as good Girl Guides, we are always ready. And therefore, of course, whatever eventuality takes place, we are going to adapt, we are going to adjust, because we believe in what is called the existential philosophy, which says that it is a human situation that can be remedied at all times. And that being as it may, of course, we have a situation where I made the on the ground report this morning. I asked a very crucial question because I wanted to ask the same thing tonight. I want to say, of course, you callers, you can, of course, call in from now because, of course, I may be ending the program a bit early. I don't have, of course, persons that will be able to carry on. You know, remember, this is a Lennox Smith funded endeavor, and of course, wise I do it every night. But if I am not there, you see what is happening. So therefore, maybe I should be thinking like Rowley, succession planning, where of course I prepare myself for my departure, and therefore, of course, groom people to, of course, do the same. But in my case, it requires money, and I don't have it. So, but that being as it may, we will make do with what we have. This morning, of course, I asked on the ground report my colleague Williams, Andy Pitbull Williams, let me be appropriate here. And of course, I asked him a very simple but very poignant question, and that is, to what is the project that is the most expensive that any government in Trinidad and Tobago would have undertaken? Of course, he was a bit delaying in terms of what I was referring to in specificity. So I had to give him some, of course, some hints, some indication as to where I'm going. So I said, well, infrastructure. And then, of course, when I saw him still fondling or still, of course, not grasping of what I was trying to ask, I then went on to say, well, of course, I mean road. And then, of course, he caught it because, of course, he then said, of course, yes, the highway to Point 14. Yes, indeed, that highway has cost something in the vicinity of, depending on who you talk to, if you talk to a UNC person, they would say, of course, it cost $7 billion. But if you talk to probably a PNM person, they may talk, say, $5 billion. Well, whichever way, it is the most expensive in Trinidad and Tobago ever undertaken. And the fact of the matter is that came as a consequence of the raging debate at this time that who and how these promises that are being made on the hustings or on the campaign trail by both sides, how they are going to fund these, of course, mega and massive, of course, what I consider to be consumption of finances of the exchequer or that of the treasury of this country. And I reference that simply because I wanted to give kudos to the UNC as opposed to the PNM. You see, that project being the most expensive, one would have expected that the government of the day would have gone and borrowed money. Understand that. As we have seen with this government, they borrow money for every and anything. And in fact, I don't get me vexed before I pull the clip, you know. It was Rowley who was criticizing the UNC for not borrowing. They say a big project like that, you have to borrow. That is what he was saying whilst he was in opposition. Just as how, of course, he would have been talking about other things such as, of course, people in his constituency had a phobia, a fear of property tax. And they're so poor, or put another way, they were so burdened with taxes that they couldn't even afford, that is his words, they couldn't even afford $100 more. They couldn't afford $100 more. Here it is, 9 years later, he has imposed, of course, property tax, but the minimum a person would have to pay, would have to pay, especially if your property has been evaluated below $14,000. You have to pay $500 minimum. But when in 2008, 2009, when the then Manning administration was contemplating and did in fact bring legislation to the parliament in order to implement the same property tax, Rowley was a bleeding heart for the poor and the underprivileged. Rowley was, of course, saying that none of his constituents could afford an additional $100. None of them could absorb the weight of taxations in this country then. At a time, 2008, when, of course, the country, by way of income, had brought into this country more than ever before revenue as far as our main export item is concerned, gas, oil, and petrochemical. First time, the most amount in 2008. I don't get me vexed before I pull the clip to hear you say or hear Rowley say and speak of that fact. does not waste time. So therefore, this level of hypocrisy is crucial. And you have Stuart Young, what I consider to be a fella in perpetual neophytism, meaning that he is a Johnny-come-lately. And therefore, in such circumstance, he is acting an experience well recorded and of course performed between 2010 and 2015. The UNC and Kamala Prasad business asking of her where she getting the money from to, of course, fund the various promises, including, of course, beginning the public servants' negotiations for salary from 10%. He, of course, countered that by saying he given 5%, 1, and 2. And he is saying that if that happens, Kamala Prasad business will bankrupt the economy of Trinidad and Tobago. Because the man is a total and absolute buffoon. He does not understand that you have to expand the economy in order to accommodate more expenditure and more, of course, commitment by the government to its citizenry, inclusive of the employees, which are the public servants. You see, over the last 9 years, the PNM administration engaged in a contractive economic policy. Contractive. It is called, in financial terms, fiscal consolidation. Fiscal consolidation, people, that is what they were engaged in. And even in those circumstances, as we have seen, when Rowley tell you to jump, you stand up still and firm. And if you tell you to open your eyes, well, boy, you close it tighter. Because you see, fiscal consolidation did not mean that the annual budget, which of course it ought to affect, did not move considerably or in any way less than what they inherited in 2015 under Kamala Prasad business. Let me repeat that. The national annual budget of Trinidad and Tobago over the last 9 years did not shift much, all around 60 billion, 50-something billion. Well, if you check, and it's easy to check, so no way, just Google it, you would see that the annual budget of Trinidad and Tobago over the last 9 years has been vacillating around $59 to $60 billion. But yet still, they engage in an economic policy that talks about and put at the forefront fiscal consolidation, which essentially in operation simply means you're cutting your cloth to suit the person who you're looking, of course, to make a suit for. In other words, you cut in order to make certain that your expenditure meets your income. And therefore, you move closer to balancing your budget. But that has not happened. In fact, let me pause to give some internal, of course, instructions. We don't move around like that when we are on air. All right? He's a freshman, let me put it that way, so he would know. But if you want to move, you'll tell me, and I will maybe shift the camera a bit. I apologize for that. Yeah, right. So that you don't disrupt or in any way look unprofessional. That's it. Look unprofessional. But that's all right. I don't want to interrupt you at the moment. No, but I want to make the point. That the people we are in an environment where all of this is new. So therefore, it's a learning experience. Yeah. And the learning curve will be sharp. As you've seen me literally rebuking on air. That has gone all over the world. But the point I am making here is that you have to start somewhere. And as Confucius would have said, the longest journey begins with a single step. And therefore, these are the infant, or should I say, the genesis of a larger agenda for transformation of the East-West corridor, and in particular, the East Port of Spain, Laventille environment. So you will have a lot of this. I'm just preparing you for, of course, some things that you may say, well, that is unprofessional, and that, you know, etc., etc. You know how people can be critical. But of course, we beg, not like Stuart Young, not like Stuart Young. Stuart Young said, amazingly, that in the last 9 years, he was saving Trinidad, and afterwards they were in a learning environment. That is why they did so badly. Agreeing that they have done bad, but still saying that there is this new dispensation where, of course, they will be able to transform themselves. But people, in 1 month, is it 1 month? He gave himself 1 month to transform Trinidad and Tobago as the murders continue, as people still can't get, of course, foreign exchange, and as he continues, of course, to make promises, and of course, for what the PNM is known for, promises never materialize, and of course, well known to the leader of the opposition, soon to be, after the 28th of this month, Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. All right? So, but let me, before I go further, let me just introduce my, well, not introduce once again, but of course, get some opening remarks from, of course, my colleague, and then probably later we will, of course, invite our guest to come to the microphone to, of course, share her thoughts. So when I say her, no, obviously it is a woman with us. But before we go there, sorry about that, but we have a caller already. So my friend, just hold on.
Hello.
Our President Knight, yes.
Yeah, hello. I'm not getting corridor transformation with Lennox Smith, you know.
You're not getting it with Lennox Smith? With Lennox Smith, W-I-T-H, with Lennox Smith.
Lennox-SMITH?
Yeah, S-M-I-T-H, yes.
Yeah, I'm still not getting on.
You're still not getting on?
No,
all right. Well, go to your usual.
Huh?
Go straight to YouTube and see what your luck might be, because this thing is just confusing.
Alright, because I see.
Because I'm getting it on my phone right now.
You have up to the 27th of March.
Yeah.
That is what I'm getting, but I'm not getting from there. Come forward.
All
But
right.
let me go to YouTube and I'll try again.
Well, thanks for that piece of information, because last night I did log on to Corridor Transformation with Lennox Smith.
It was okay.
And we got it on the both on the device that I'm holding in my hand and on the system that we have in house. We'll have to tie up that, because I find it, you know, suddenly it becomes very difficult. But you know, we are attached to the ground report, and I think the technical people on the ground report may have done something, because we carry the ground report on mornings in an attempt to get the widest audience, but it appears that we are suffering in the night when we try to, of course, project the corridor transformation. So it is here. I'm seeing it here. Let's go again. Watch it here. And as I switch on, look, it's there on the top. You see there? You know this? Yeah, look, we're there. We're talking. Yeah. Point at it and you will see it here. Right.
But
And it will come across.
good night, everybody, you know.
But go ahead, yes, go ahead, man.
My name is Ricky Taylor. I apologize for our unprofessional move just now, but you know, sometimes when nature calling, I don't want to interrupt my particular leader, Lennox Smith, at the moment, because he was on a go. And when I see on a pitch, I doesn't like to interrupt him, because sometimes everything he say, it makes sense to me. You understand, right? Everything he say, it makes sense to me, because at the end of the day, we a coalitional body of people with UNC. And that is my particular politics leader. And I had a lead. When he lead, I follow. But tonight, we have some people on the floor. You was, what, how I'll say about these people? Laventry built up with a section of people, the East-West corridor, some intelligent people, some people who come out to fight for the equal rights of justice, equal rights of justice in the East-West corridor, who know the politics, who know what's going on around us. You know, tonight, it are plenty like this in Labantil. And don't matter what, I love Kamala, and I love this coalition, because we had to make the coalition win for this to be successful, for Kamala or any other government to knowing what we stand for in the East-West corridor. You must, I've been talking about certain things because I was one of the young people who out there who could talk and reach out to the people and them, and maybe have a better understanding of what's going on in my district, more than the politician who coming to represent me in my constituency. You must know we have a vibrant speaker out there, and I wanted to understand we have plenty like this in our constituency who about the betterment of the country and the betterment of the people. So today, I don't want to bring you on right now. It's up to my particular leader, Lennox Smith, to bring you on.
We can, because remember, they were coming for me just now.
Yeah.
I have to attend. I have to attend the Tonopuna meeting, so they will be coming to me for me now. I'll stay as long as I can. But so we like to bring. No. We'll bring you on now. I'm saying bring you on now. We like to bring you on now. All right? That's all right. All right. Yeah, come on. But you can. Either we. Let's come here. Yeah. Yes. So this is my come a little closer. This is my right? So go closer to me.
Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, Mr. Lennox, I'm not sure if my topic will be in line with yours. That is why I wanted to listen to you a little more. You understand? But it's somehow I feel it raising my pressure because to know that it have other things that I'm digging. I'm more digged in what's happening in the community, the growth of the community. You understand me?
Exactly, that's what we're all about. That's why we bring you here, man. Just express yourself, man.
Well, over the years, I have seen the community, opportunities in the community removed. I'm not about either. When I say I'm not about them, that is my personal business, my choice of vote. But this topic, what I'm having with you today, what I came to have with you today, is about talking 100% about what is going on in the community with the single parents, which it have a lot of that in our community, nothing new, no, you can't label one. And I'm telling you, let me use, for example, Ministerial Labour. Look, Ministerial Labour is right there around the corner.
Oh, yes, that's on the top part of George Street. Yes.
When Miss Pesad Bissessa was in power, she had formed a section in Ministerial Labour, Small Macro.
Okay.
Small Macro was one of the parts in Ministerial Labour whereby any contractor, any small, could have gone to Ministry of Labour, you understand, and ply their trade. I haven't seen better in this community. the communities open up where anybody could come in, and thing is it's a thing because the same thing we lost years ago. I used to go best village practice, craft practice in the community center. You understand me? Where are all these things gone? When these things left, that was the breakdown of our community.
Wow.
Because a girl child had somewhere to go. You understand me? It was something, and we don't have that anymore in our community, Mr. Lennox.
Wow.
All right, the Bill Community Centers, like for instance, let us use Roasted as an example. There's a large community center, but yet still why it cannot have an understanding whereby somebody could ply the trade there or introduce the trade to the young ladies there. Majority of trades that open to the young ladies are majority beauty culture. How much are these ladies could do here? How much customers it have for these young ladies? This is one of the, and it has so much of trades. You understand? Well, the nursing seem to be doing well, but it has so much of things to offer. And why is the community? You can see that the life has gone. The life has gone from the community.
Wow. It's that bad. It's that bad. Normally we give way to the callers, so you would appreciate that. Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Yeah. I think I get on to YouTube here.
And you got on? You got on?
Yeah, I've seen it on YouTube, I think. Yeah.
Right. Good.
Current
Okay.
Transformation Live broadcast.
Right. Yes, that's right. So your problem is solved.
Yeah. So
Okay. All right,
yeah,
okay
but
then. Yes,
but
we're trying to get on to Kamala Prasad Bisasa. I'm seeing her on the screen there, so we may well, of course, try to get an excerpt of or a piece of what she is saying tonight. As I said, I was supposed to be in that meeting tonight, but I have given it up for, of course, this exercise because I think the community interest, and of course, let's face it, all politics is, of course, domestic. Go ahead, just give us about a few. Pointer.
Now, in this community here, I want to express it more for Nelson Street. In this community here, as I said, Ministry of Labor is right there. Even so for the young people out here with opportunities being taken away from them. When you close down small macro development, where could they run to? There's a program going on there which part you can work there for 1 year as what is it called them? Custodian.
A custodian, okay.
So you get in this job for 1 year in a custodian. How much help is that? You're barely taking. Why are you lifting them to a point and dropping them back down? You understand me? Why are we being lifted to a point and then drop back down? When a lot of your artists, a lot of your artists, we just recently lost an old school artist here who used to paint up around the Savannah, paint those boards for them emancipation thing. And these people are going and not being noticed, God.
Wow.
And there's a lot of things happening in the community here. Whatever thing. All right, they brought out Color Me Orange. This is a setup. They brought out Color Me Orange. Why it is a working program was shut down. Why it is a working program, why it is contracts is being handed to our youth men, what you all know don't have that degree, that document, that patience, or that temperament to balance that cash. Why are you handing them that, what's handing them that money? Plenty of the murders and killings out here have a lot to do with monies handing into hands of people that could not have handled it. The only ones that really surviving out here is the Muslims, and then because the Muslims moves together as an organization. A lot of people that is out of the Muslims are finding themselves struggling out here, standing by the corner, and many times have no choice. If push comes to shove, because they might get kids early, and they find themselves on a point to do a robbery. Now, you say that always his choice to make the robbery, but if there is no opportunities, why are these kids being so demonized when they are put in position to run an organization whereby it is where the courting system organization is run by? Our children is being used out here, especially the male children are targeted. So I would not be able to talk, but it's time for us to talk as a people keeping red and yellow out of the way, and let us talk now face to face and know what is our value. Our value is voting on the 28th of this month. That is the only time we show our value. If we slip up on that value, we are putting our children to the land tax I was stopping you in the road and asking you about.
Yes, yes.
Now, if this generation is aware of the land tax, whether we like it or not, eventually, whether this government cannot tell me that they won't be able to do it and that government tell me what the thing is. Once we are under crown land, we cannot win the government for no land tax. If you don't, there's 2 deeds. And if your deed is a deed of the crown and our generation to come does not pay those land tax, the land goes back to the crown. Our children can't fight that. And the way that they have done the educational system, it is to dumb down our kids. Our kids is dumbed down as compared to the so-called Generation X. Generation X is the one that when we used to, I remember walking the road, Mr. Lennox, when men in Trinidad used to work with suit pants and shirt, or a white shirt, the pants and the thing. Ironing was very important for a man to be a man's wife, because that seam had was to be the thing. Look at the standard we came from. Look where we are now. The dumb down because we allow the system that is teaching our children this thing and thing, and we say that they are what? Would it have something to say with children is when they're dyslexic. We children are dyslexic, the body refuse to accept false knowledge. You understand me? They refuse, some of them is handwork. All right, I've been trained by the Defense Force Reserve. I'm telling you, this situation can be settled. Our crime situation can be settled. But as the old people say, empty barrels make the most noise. If they are empty, you will hear noise. Why are there so much of people being brought up, lift up again, be trained with the Defense Force, especially in the reserve session? And these people, to get into the reserve, you have to be a certificate or something, a certified something. You understand? There's only a regular staff there, and the rest of people that are trained, they are on the streets. They are free to open shops. They're free to thing. The ones in the green is not allowed to work, but the ones that open shops and thing, and they are trained people on the streets. Why don't you disperse them into the schools that you all say you also have, because they are trained? Let them work for the money.
Great boy. This is. I love this. This is solution orientation. This is
because this is not about government and whatnot.
Yeah.
I will sit on the seat, but I'm not calling Miss Bissessa, and I'm not calling.
I hear you.
This is something that the people need to hear. Do you know your value, people? Yeah. Do you know the value of your birth certificate? The birth certificate does not make you a Trinidadian. It's a bond. That bond has a value. So this is the right that they would not be able to interfere with you voting, but it is interfered with if you are studying race. How come race come into the thing when in the 70s it had the big Black Power movement, and when the blacks was going to, these is the shows that don't show on TV, when the blacks went up to the east and where they were shocked how the Indians came in and joined in with the blacks, and this is the time we had reached too. Because in the Black Power movement, a lot of them that died, they died for our rights. And right now we are seeing our rights are being taken away from us. Okay.
Well, of course, we'll have to cut you short. I really would appreciate another conversation for another time. But of course, we have to join Kamala Prasad-Bissessa and the UNC in Tonopuna at this point in time. So I want to thank you very much, of course, for gracing us with your presence and the contribution that you would have made. But we have to go straight into Kamala Prasad-Bissessa at this point in time. All right? And of course, because we have an election that we need to treat with.
All equipment, state-of-the-art hospital. They're so wicked. They will not open the hospital because the UNC built it. Well, we, the UNC, will go back into office and we will reopen that hospital. We will make sure that healthcare is available 24 hours a day. We can make sure together that doctors can visit patients at their homes And you see how people so again short-sighted.
So people, of course, we have preempted, of course, as tonight's program to, of course, accommodate Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC in Tarapuna. Remember, I had to be there as well, but of course, so they are coming to pick me up in a while, so we'll stay as long as we can in order, of course, to take in what Kamala Prasad Bisesa has to say. Remember, we have just a couple more days before, of course, the election day on the 28th, it's just Monday, and therefore we need to absorb as much as we can to make certain that we do the right thing in our best interest.
Do they have a laptop? Do they have a cell phone? And some of them, even Archie had one, they probably don't even know how to use it. You want to do virtual? Look, we will send real human beings to visit our elderly citizens. They have served our country well. They deserve our respect. And we must give them that. What about dialysis centers, the cath labs, the other specialized treatments? We must make sure these are available. I talked about this before. We have the health manifesto, which I'm sure you can access all our plans on the websites, on the Facebook online. Yes, Mohini, it's online. Thank you. So you could get it online. So this vote on Monday is for UNC government to deliver on its promises, to give you the best life you rightfully deserve. This is a people-centered governance, and you citizens can hold us up to account for everything that we say on this platform. Because we will ensure that when the UNC wins, we will ensure everybody wins. And you know, yesterday I said I'm in my constituency and on that truck all day. And the song is, yes, that is superior, thank you. And that song is playing over and over. And you know what is the amazing thing? Every time that song came up, we have about 12 other songs. The creativity in this country is tremendous, you know. The creative talent is tremendous. And we also have to monetize that to give our artists a way forward. And so when that song is playing yesterday, all the children are just running out to their gates and they're singing louder than the guys on the truck with the mic because there's something in it. What is it that is so important when we say that? Why is it so powerful? Why has it switched on so much positivity in people's lives? When the UNC wins, everybody wins. I want to share with you why I think it is so popular. And you will probably tell me why you like the song. I saw someone writing an article, and someone is usually very negative towards UNC and myself, and they say they can't forget the song. It's a song that is so simple, it is so sweet, it is so innocent, and it is also so happy. So I'm telling you this, so you'll know that your vote must be decided from positivity, truth, not negativity, not smears. It has always been a fact, you see, a track record of when the UNC wins, that everybody wins. People have already experienced that. It's a fact that the UNC has uplifted hundreds of thousands of lives. When the UNC wins, everybody wins is a fact. It's a truth that made hundreds of thousands of lives much better through UNC building schools. I was Minister of Education, I remember that. We had a really great push to building schools. We had our slogan then was, not a child must be left behind. Before that, thousands of our young children were left behind not because they were bright or dunce, they didn't have anything like that, because they just didn't have school space. And so we built those schools. And when we came back into office with Dr. Tim, we built over 106 schools in 5 years. We left many others almost completed. And so I think you remember, Felicia made me so proud tonight when she said, who was in power then? Who was in power then? When she gave all the examples. I thank you for reminding us, Felicia. So we have that track record. Building schools, raising salaries, improving health care, fighting crime, delivering water, creating jobs. And I think people are remembering that. When the UNC wins, everybody wins, has switched on a spotlight that will take you right to the voting booth and your ballot paper. When you see that ballot, the rising sun on that ballot will light up on that ballot. It will be the only thing you see. Because you will be hearing in your ear and remembering in your heart that when the UNC wins, everybody wins. When you watch that ballot paper, the rising sun will jump off that ballot paper right into your heart with thoughts of the best life that you deserve. Rising sun, I say, will shine in that voting booth. It will be the only thing you will see, because you know that when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Just look around for yourself. Look at the beautiful faces around you. So many of those beautiful faces have joined us because they want a win in life. When you sleep securely at night, that is a big UNC win for the security of your family. I think we have been very blessed to get Roger on our platform. Roger, that, yes. Thank you, Roger, joining. I see Philip Alexander of the PEP has joined us. Give him a round of applause. So when you sleep securely at night, know the UNC team and our coalition partners, we are working for you. When you kiss your children before sending them to school in the morning, knowing that they would not be bullied at school, that is your big UNC win also. When you open your taps the first thing in the morning and you see water flowing, that also is a big UNC win. And when you look around your neighborhood, there are UNC wins peppering your landscape, from schools to parks, to stadia, to hospitals, bridges and roads. Anil Roberts was a great minister of sport. I don't know if you remember. He's here tonight somewhere, Anil. Okay, Anil. He built the stadia, he built the cycling velodrome, he built up here, what was it, the water park, the aqua center. Sporting facilities that David spoke about, we have to continue that. Our young people need somewhere to go to vent their frustrations and to enjoy themselves in sport and in culture. And so these UNC wins must never be forgotten. We made these wins for you in the past, we will do it again. They show our credentials and experience. Excellent wins we shared with you are the pillars of your confidence in us. They were pillars of confidence that build the best lives for your children and your families. Confidence erases the feeling of being an imposter in your own land. You have been made to feel like an imposter in your own land under this wicked government. You have been made to watch everything go to Stuart Young, his daddy, and his daddy's friends and financiers. While they refuse to pay you a fare, there is pay for a fair day's work. The prosperity of our country is not theirs to loot and burn to the ground. Not a single citizen of our country must be made to feel an imposter in our own land. Not one should feel so. But this government, wicked, has abused the people of this land. Those 10 years of PNM brutality and abuse will be cured when you come out and put your X next to the rising sun. Because you know, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. A UNC government is your government. The everybody in that song means your voice is in government, your ideas in government. Your best life will be with the UNC government and our partners. I heard Devish talking about that. When we first sent him out as a candidate, he walked the ground and he talked to people. What do you want? The UNC has always been holding consultations. We listen and then we lead. We listen first and then we lead. So that everybody means you, all of you, we a voice in government. And that is what this election and this vote is all about come on Monday. I think we are now 5 days away. Today is what? Today is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 5 days, and on the 6th day, you cast your vote. So our song is very beautiful. Just as we see, nature is with us. All around the country, people are suddenly...
Yes, people, of course, Kamala Prasad Bisesa is at the Chodapuna meeting, of course, addressing the audience. A massive crowd, as per usual. While, of course, some say that is not an indication of victory. Well, boy, I don't know what else is, because when you look at the PNM's crowd, you see, of course, it is dwindling by the moment. One can say it's almost a funeral procession. But let's see how things turn out at the polls. This must be converted into votes. And at the polls, the victory must be so big that they can't thief, because that is what they would want to do at this point in time.
I told Kennedy when Kennedy was in the parliament when I was there. He was on the other side. John, we shared the parliament. That parliament was never like how it is under this present government. For the past 10 years under the Rowley Stewart government, that parliament was a place of decent human beings. We worked together for the betterment of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, not this government. Not this government. Every time you see them is anger and hate and bitterness, insults, insulting your intelligence. They show no love on their platforms. They show no gratitude to citizens. And you know, they say ingratitude is the worst. What is it, Pastor, what is it? Yes, ingratitude. I see a young man aspiring to be elected Prime Minister because he's a one-day Prime Minister. And I saw a whole article, and he says he is not Rowley 2.0. He said he's not that. Okay, Prof. He's not that. This is a man who traveled everywhere with Rowley. Rowley gave him everything.
People, of course, I will have to come to the end. I have now to leave.
Which I will not use tonight. But Rowley gave
a post-meeting
everything. Anointed him, appointed him Prime Minister, and this one has no gratitude. He has none whatsoever. And he has failed his first test. His first test is to come and campaign to win an election. And he has failed. He had to go back, Daddy, to come back. Daddy Rowley had to come back to campaign for him. Failed his test. Talking friend being inflicted.
All right, let me hear this call, and then I'll take my departure. President, good night. Welcome.
Yeah. Hello, yeah?
Yes, welcome.
From San Fernando, yeah?
Yes, go ahead.
The Bajan man, the Bajan minister that who wanted in the CARICOM meeting that Rowley went to. Remember there was a clipping with a Bajan minister saying that Rowley ought to be brought to justice.
Yes, I remember that.
Remember that?
Yes,
right.
A Barbadian activist, yeah.
Yeah. That caller who called and was talking about Rowley ought to be brought to justice there just now.
Oh,
right?
Right.
I want to say that we, the people of Trinidad, should also be holding Rowley and bringing him to justice. So, on the 28th, we know what we have to do.
That's right.
Right? So, and I want all the PNM people who getting kicked in the face.
All right.
Right? From Rowley to really understand the situation, and I hope these last few days they should understand.
I really have to cut you short though, because they're waiting. We have to go. All right? But certainly tomorrow night. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
bye-bye.
All right. Okay.
Life would be fun. So the treasury broke and they say that recession jamming. So no foreign countries really start migrating. They lose faith in the country, they say we gone down the drain.
All right, people, so tomorrow morning, of course, don't forget that the ground report, Andy, Michael, myself, and tomorrow night, we will return, of course, with these and other issues. See you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
But the majority of we decide we're not going to run, because now is the time to show we patriotism. For we country facing its darkest hour. So our people need us today more than ever. But in our fight to recover, if ever you feel to surrender, it have one little thing that I want you always remember. We could live